wasn't any issue with blood sugars or anything like that. There was no increase in any kind of medication. It was just due to stress on the body. A random event. That was covered and not paid. Now, if that same individual forgot to take their meds, and the heart attack was due to a complication of diabetes, that's a different circumstance. But the whole point here is that if you're treating yourself properly and something happens out of the blue, that's covered. So let's run through a couple of scenarios here for you. Okay, we got my buddy Robert here. And Robert likes to use cocaine recreationally. Okay? Believe it or not, I get calls about this all the time. Have you ever used any kind of illicit drug like cocaine? Well, there was that one time at a New Year's party, and I thought I'd say, what the hell, and go for it. Carriers don't like that very much. We don't judge. You want to party on the weekend, as long as you don't have a problem, you might be refused elsewhere, but for us, we welcome you to the Humana family and offer you $300K in life protection on a T10 basis for a 4-year-old at $79.92 a month. Isn't that awesome? It's great, right? And of course, if they choose to do a T20 instead, we can do that as well. Obviously a little bit higher in price, but you get 10 more years out of it. Jennifer Wall, 35 years old, looks perfectly healthy, but she has MS. Carriers, again, makes her uninsurable. She needs $200K to cover her mortgage, and it's a condition on obtaining the loan for the mortgage. And she's been declined by the financial institutions and therefore refused the loan unless she can find something else quickly. With us, she can get the $200K, no problem. $87 a month, just below that. Or on a T20 basis, $103.23. And also provide her disability debt coverage to cover off her payments. 12-month benefit, $54.60 a month. Or if she prefers a T20, $57.29. Complete coverage for individuals who normally can't get it. We got Monica Pearson here.
Excuse me?
Yes?
Are there ratings for that woman on the coverage?
Good question. So,
They pay substantially more than the guy did at 40.
correct. So the guy at 40 would have been what's called a gold rating. Okay? The gold rating is based on medical history, family history, and whether or not they're currently being treated for any kind of condition, so any kind of prescription.
In other words, standard.
Gold is our standard with that. Or I would even say gold is our preferred. Silver being our standard, and bronze being our high-risk category. The female that we just talked about, would have been bronze, so high-risk category. The male would have been gold.
So how much over the standard offering would the gold?
Percentage-wise, it does depend on the age. It's as you go up, there's an exponential increase as you go up.
You don't know the dollar amount here.
In terms of dollar, well, one's a female, one's a male, and
No, that's not it. It's what's the increase in what are you charging or surcharging for the substandard risk? Because that's what she is.
right.
That's what your bronze offering is, the substandard risk. How much additional premium did she have to pay for that coverage?
Like I said, it depends on the case. All of our quoting is public and it's done online, so what you do is you just simply go through those questions to find out the price for that specific case. You're asking for the increase. I understand that you're asking for what the difference is between them, and the fact is that it changes age to age. It changes from male to female, smoking to non-smoking.
I was asking what it was in this specific case, that's all.
Well, let's go back. So, 86.67 for 200K, so 1/3 less coverage. So if we increase the premium by say about 50%, so call it an extra $43 odd, so that's about call it 130, make my life easy. Versus 80. So about a 50% increase.
Thank you.
40 to 50%, depending on the circumstance. But like I said, it does depend case by case, gender, smoking, all of that. As far as the smoking status is concerned, something that I will bring up because after marijuana being legalized, the way that we underrate marijuana in this particular product, they are considered smokers. With Hugo, marijuana and hashish is considered non-smoker. The frequency of use will determine whether or not it's rated or declined. Anyway, Monica Pearson, 50-year-old, type 1 diabetic, also had a heart attack 3 years ago. She needs some coverage for a buy-sell agreement. Now, given the fact that she's 50 years old, had a heart attack recently, and a type 1 diabetic, she's clearly in the substandard category of bronze. But we can still make her an offer of immediate coverage for $385.29 per month for 300K in coverage.
Is there pre-X in that one?
Pre-X, 24-month pre-X. Now notice, let's back this up for a second. The heart attack was more than 2 years ago, right? If she's still receiving treatment for the heart attack, like if she's being diagnosed with a heart condition, that would not be covered. However, if it was a one-time event due to stress and there isn't an underlying heart concern, then that would be covered. Okay, it depends on the circumstance, but the pre-X only applies to the past 2 years of time of application.
But any complications from the type 1?
Complications, right. But again, like I had said in the previous case that we did pay out, depending on the circumstance, yes, a direct complication of type 1 would not be covered. Indirect, case-by-case basis, but in theory could be covered. Now we got Stephen Thompson, 35 years old. He's 5 foot and 272 pounds. Stevie's a big boy. Fortunately for Stephen, we don't ask about height and weight. That doesn't come into our underwriting categories. So we don't need, whether he is 5 foot 272. I had a ballerina once who I think was in it like 5'6" or 5'7", something like that, and just shy of 100 pounds. Either way, we don't ask. Entirely, not a big deal. Stephen's looking for $50K in critical illness coverage because a family member was recently diagnosed by cancer and he wants to make sure that he has some coverage for his family. He's applied elsewhere and naturally has been declined. With us, $50K in CI coverage. On a T10 basis, $30.20 a month. 4 conditions CI, cancer, heart attack, stroke, coronary bypass, but he gets coverage immediately. If he prefers a T20, $40.14. Actually, and before I go any further with that, are there any other, yes, back there.
Does the coverage expire after 20 years or can you renew it?
Good question. As far as issue ages, renewability, and convertibility, issue ages for the life, 18 to age 70. Issue ages for the CI and the DI, 18 to 55. The CI will auto-renew until age 65. The CI will auto-renew to age 65, at which point it will expire, as will the DI. It's also important to note that, hold on one second. It's important to note that both the CI and DI are eligible for a 75% return of premium, assuming there has been no claim over 20 years, as long as the policy can stay in force for 20 years. Okay? Question?
What is the percentage of claims paid?
Percentage of claims paid. High 90s. I don't have the exact number on me, but I did sit down with my director of claims when I first started, because I was curious too. Part of what my bio didn't talk about, and the reason I found out about Humana myself, is that I worked for an MGA prior to this, and I was in charge of all the hard-to-insure rated and declined cases, trying to find homes for them. And that's how I got to learn about Humana, because they offer some unique solutions that a lot of other simplified carriers didn't. And so when I sat down and got hired with Humana, I sat with my director of claims, and I said, how do you go about your job, basically? And she said, it's chain of causality. If I can draw a straight line from death to pre-existing condition, obviously within the first 2 years, then that's a no-go. After the 2 years, doesn't matter anyway. But it's high 90s. Yes, back there. But he had it for more than 2 years, so he's past the point of contestability. Within 2 years? Okay, so again, we do ask about diagnosis. Being overweight doesn't necessarily mean that you have a heart condition, right? Right. So again, case by case circumstance. Did being obese kill him? That's the question, right? And based on the circumstances and based on what exactly occurred, if they can draw a direct link from cause of death to pre-existing condition, then no, that wouldn't pay in the first 2 years. However, unless it has to be a direct link, right? If it's not, then that would pay. Having a heart attack and being overweight might point to a heart condition, but if you went to the doctor within the last year and the doctor said, no, nothing's really wrong with your heart, but yeah, you should lose a little bit of weight, that's not a direct cause. No, I can understand your concerns, but truth be told here, guys, we're first and foremost, we're a mutual company, and we're dwarfed by some of the bigger carriers. We go back to legal with all of our contracts and all of our cases, and unless legal says, no, we can defend this in court and we will win pretty concretely, we pay. Bear in mind that an insurance contract, when you make a claim, it is the responsibility of the carrier to prove why it is not paying, right? It is their job to show that that was not covered based upon the contract. The burden of proof is on us. So when you're asking about situations like that, we have to be pretty certain that that cause of death was caused by something in the background. Otherwise we pay. And like I said, it's in the high 90s. Just for the sake of time here, guys, I'm going to move along.